Modi-Macron meeting. Ahead of that key bilateral meeting between India and France today, a major focus remains on a possible Rafale deal as well. In fact, it's deemed as big momentum to the India-France deal in Rafale, as far as Rafales go, and the Make in India vision as well. Paris has signaled its willingness to co-produce the fighter jets with critical technology transfer as well. The Modi-Macron meeting is expected to accelerate progress in both the world's largest pending fighter jet acquisition and a decade-stalled nuclear energy partnership. The 114 aircraft Rafale deal, valued at roughly $39 billion, is at step 4 of a 12-step Indian procurement process, making France's assurances of technology transfer and Indian weapons integration all the more important. The Indian Air Force, which currently operates 32 squadrons against a sanctioned strength of 42, has already deployed its existing 36 Rafales in combat. The jets flew missions during Operation Sindoor. India's, of course, May 2025 military response to the Pahalgam terrorist attack through Operation Sindoor has seen operations over, has seen the Rafales used, and we've also seen operations over Ladakh being done through the Rafale aircraft as well. Now, with the Rafale deal occupying our major focus on this segment, let's take a look at the aircraft and why India chose the Rafale jet, what makes it so crucial and so important for India's security forces, in particular the Indian Air Force. So the Rafale M, of course, is a very, very important jet, of course, and it has worked very well for us so far. Here it is. It has a wingspan of 10.90 meters and a length of 15.30 meters in total. It has a height of 5.30 meters and a total maximum speed of 750 knots. That's about 1,389 kilometers per hour. Well, the max altitude, of course, that the jet can fly at is 50,000 feet. And armaments, of course, that it can carry with it are long-range Meteor missiles. Also, the Mica missiles as well, and the Hammer as well. That's something that can also be armed on the Rafale. The Scalp 2, not to forget, the AIM-39, often paired with the Rafale in operations. And why has India chosen this particular aircraft over many others? Well, there are several reasons for this, which make the Rafale, of course, so sought after. The Dassault Rafale, of course, is a French 4.5 generation multi-role fighter aircraft. Let's compare it now with the Lockheed Martin F-35, the Sukhoi Su-57, and the JF-17 Thunder. The Lockheed Martin F-35 is an American 5th generation stealth multi-role fighter. The Sukhoi Su-57 is a Russian 5th generation stealth fighter, and the JF-17 Thunder is a Sino-Pakistani 4.5 generation lightweight multi-role fighter. The Rafale, as we mentioned, has a top speed of 1,912 kilometers per hour. The Lockheed Martin has a top speed of 1,200 kilometers per hour. The Sukhoi Su-57 has a top speed of 2,120 to 2,600 kilometers per hour, and the JF-17 Thunder has a top speed of 1,910 kilometers per hour. So pretty significant, of course, lead that this has, apart from the Sukhoi Su-57. But here's where the Rafale scores over these Sukhoi Su-57 as well in range. 1,850 kilometers, the range of the Dassault Rafale. Lockheed Martin F-35, 1,200 kilometers. Sukhoi Su-57, 1,500 kilometers. JF-17 Thunder, 1,352 kilometers. Clear advantage for the Rafale, as you can see. The length is 15.3 meters for the Dassault Rafale. Lockheed Martin F-35 is about 15.7 meters in length. Sukhoi Su-57 about 20.1 meter in length, and 14.9 meters in length is the JF-17 Thunder. Now let's tell you about the radar. The radars of the Dassault Rafale are the Thales RBE-2 AESA. Lockheed Martin uses the number 36 by ELCA. Sukhoi Su-57 as the ANAPG-81 ESA, and JF-17 Thunder uses the KLJ-7A ESA. Meanwhile, the weapons that, of course, can be armed on the aircraft. The Dassault Rafale has, of course, the Meteor, the Scalp, and an AIM-39 Exocet. The Lockheed Martin F-35 can be paired with the AIM-120D, the AMRAAM, the JDAM, and the STB. The Sukhoi Su-57 normally has the R-77M, KH-38, and GSH-31 cannon. The JF-17 Thunder normally paired with the PL-15E and C-802. The cost in operations is about $22,000 for the Dassault Rafale, significantly lower than these other couple of aircrafts, as you can see. The Lockheed Martin F-35, about $42,000, $24,000 the cost of operations for the Sukhoi Su-57, and about $15,000 for the JF-17 Thunder. So if you look at all the aspects overall, and compare them, I think the Rafale does pretty well. Gautam Mukherjee, senior journalist, is with us on the broadcast. Gautam, how much of the meeting between Modi and Macron will also involve discussions on the Rafale and the fast tracking of them? Key technology transfer, something that France has already agreed to, but the timeline needs to be agreed as well. I think we're on about the fourth or fifth step in a 12-step plan to get the deal finally inked and ready to roll.
I think, Uday, the main sticking point for long was the lack of the source code, which the French were not willing to give us. Now, the latest information seems to indicate a collaboration in terms of the building of the aircraft, both here and in France, but mostly in India, which implies, though doesn't say categorically, that the source codes will be handed over. This is very important for us to put our various armaments, radars, and such like onto the aircraft. Now, the former 36 aircraft that we have from them is an earlier generation. Now, the French and others who are being sold the Rafale are using the latest generation with yet another generation in the works. So now India has asked for a combination of the technology involved in the current generation as well as the forthcoming one. There is also the work that we've been doing together on the submarines, which needs to be expedited. If France sticks to its commitments, which we can't be sure of, but at the same time, our other alternative are the Russians, and the Russians with their prolonged Ukraine war are going to be very tardy in terms of delivery. The Su-57, they want to make in India, not only for India, but for the world with full technology transfer. I think it's a very attractive proposition, but IAF, Indian Air Force, seems to want a couple of squadrons of the Su-57 to start with and nothing more. Possibly because of worries on the supplies of parts and such like. A lot of the Su-57 parts are in fact European, and so there are inherent problems in that. If France sticks to this, and if Macron lasts long enough while this negotiation is in the works, and even if he doesn't, the future governments, which are likely to be quite right-wing, Marine Le Pen, for example, it is likely that if Macron agrees to things, Marine Le Pen will not put a spoke in it. So as such, and then you've got the Marine Rafale as well for our aircraft carriers, 28 of them. That also is in the works. So all of it put together, this is very, very defense heavy. The other things are in the nascent stages, if you ask me, but defense is starting to mature, and I think that is the main interest on both sides. Uday.
Okay. Let me also, in fact, now quickly rope in Commander Bhushan Diwan, defense expert, who also joins us live. Commander Diwan, as far as this Rafale deal is concerned, how crucial is it for India? How significant is this aircraft for our forces? And how important is it to fast track this as well? Do you believe today's discussion should also focus on this between Prime Minister Modi and President Macron?
Jai Hind, and thank you for getting me on board. Now, historically, we have seen that the French have always been easygoing with us compared to the Americans, who held back a lot of things, and a lot of time they held back on supplying the latest stuff. But the French have been more business-like, and you go back to history, the Mystère or Tufani aircraft were given by the French without much of a problem. Similarly, after the nuclear Pokhran nuclear explosion that we did, most countries put on the sanctions, but France never did. So therefore, I think this Rafale deal, if it comes through, as Gautam has said, we will probably not have any problems in the future as well, because French are basically businessmen. And unlike the not having ideology that I will not give it to you because you're going to war with somebody, those things will not happen. They have not happened in the past. We have Mirages with them. We have the Tufanis. Now we have the Rafales. And the Rafale has extensively been tested and found to be suitable for our requirements. I mean, it may not be suitable for the Americans, but then for our environment, for our purposes, Rafale has been a very, very important addition. And the recent Sindoor operations exemplified how better we could use that. And there is also a possibility that beyond Rafale, the sixth generation Eurofighter, the other countries have got out of that plan, and therefore France may be very keen to rope in India, because Germany and I think Netherlands, they have walked out of those projects. So possibly that the Rafale project might also take us into the sixth generation Eurofighter, which the French are very keen to get some more money from the others. So all in all, I think it's going to be a good deal, and I think Macron and Modi also on a personal level have a good rapport, and it will be the Indian Air Force definitely needs some more aircraft to come into the kitty, because they don't have the numbers that they really want. And the Rafale deal, if it comes through and manufacturing in India, we can transfer technology. We can also leapfrog into our own engine for jets in the future. So I think it's all in all, I expect that there will be a more positive outcome of this, and it will be good in the long run for India to have that.
Okay. Let me, in fact, also now address some breaking news, in fact, coming in this hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has tweeted during his visit to France. He has put a picture of him and Macron, Emmanuel Macron, the President of France, and has said, and I quote, "Happy to meet you in Nice. My friend President Macron, thank you for taking part in Bharat Innovates at a time when our nations are marking the year of innovation," quote unquote. So a first message being put out on social media by Prime Minister Modi. He's posted on X. He's called Emmanuel Macron his friend, and he's thanked him for participating in Bharat Innovates, Gautam Mukherjee. He said it's great to meet President Macron in Nice, and it's also important as this meeting comes in the year of innovation that the two countries are celebrating.
Yes, well, innovation is something that India is very keen on. It requires almost across the board collaboration with advanced countries. We have the manpower and the skills, but not often the exposure that is necessary to put it on fast track, and also to attach it to national development objectives in various parts of defense, electronics, manufacturing, and so on. So in all of this, the innovation as an area to be looked at separately, which is what is being done now, the Year of Innovation, the Innovation Summit in Nice, it is something that is, the order of the day, a very keen requirement in India, and because of the size of our market and possibilities, something of great interest, no doubt, to France. Uday.
Indeed, and it's very important for the two countries to cooperate and collaborate, isn't it, Commander Diwan, in the field of innovation and startups and entrepreneurship. Make in India is something that PM Modi and the Indian government have been pitching for quite a while. And we have seen a lot of convergence areas as far as India and France are concerned, and India and Europe are concerned, in terms of our entrepreneurs. How crucial will this Bharat Innovates Forum be, and how important is it in the field of innovation for India and France to converge more and collaborate more?
Sorry to correct you, I am Wing Commander Bhushan, not Diwan. And of course, Indian brains are well known for all kind of innovations. Jugaad, IITs are very famous all over. We have done a lot of reverse engineering and a lot of stuff. And the Frenchies would definitely gain from the technological pool that we have. We have a large pool of technologically trained people who can contribute a great deal. And we have seen that in the various operations that we had, the kind of jugaad that our people have done on the equipment that we had. And I don't know, going back a little too far, the Packet Fairchild aircraft that the Americans left behind, transport aircraft, we had an Orpheus engine, NAT engine, that we attached on top and we still operated. So therefore, the technological advances and the Indian brains that are there are the innovation that we can provide to France is tremendous. And I'm sure the kind of large pool of technologically capable people and industry that is now growing. Because now remember that three companies that have given awarded the contract to develop an AMCA. So therefore, we have the wherewithal today, but the technical knowledge we didn't have, which we'll probably get.
And sir, since you have, of course, you've just pointed out that correction, and we will correct it as well. You have served in the Indian Air Force, sir. So you are best suited to tell us about what makes the Rafale so different and so significantly superior to the other jets in the same range, be it the Sukhoi, be it the Lockheed Martin aircraft, or be it the JF-17. Why don't you help contextualize things for us, sir, and tell us where Rafale stands out and why we are opting for it in this large quantity?
Now you had given certain amount of data that came through in the beginning, and the F-35 definitely not for us. The kind of operational cost that it costs, the number of downtime that it has for after every sortie, and the kind of the link that Americans always can switch off. If you recall, the F-35 that landed in Cochin was stuck for about a week because they did not even give the key to the British. So therefore, F-35 was out and out from the beginning. There was no way that India was going to get to compromise itself by buying the F-35 on various parameters, apart from the fact that you will not have the control. The SU is a good aircraft, but as Gautam mentioned just now, the Russians are busy with the Ukraine war. So possibly they might be able to give you two squadrons, and maybe in due course of time, maybe 2 years down the line, set up a manufacturing base here. But what we need is something that is immediate. We have used this aircraft now for about 2 years already, and we find it quite useful to us for our environment. The environment which we operate is where we count what kind of aircraft we want. And Rafale suits us because our ambitions right now are not intercontinental, our the subcontinental problems. So we are looking at aircraft which serve our purpose for our purpose.
Okay. All right. Let me, in fact, also quickly go back to you and ask you, sir, before I go back to Gautam Mukherjee, on the timelines as well. What kind of timelines are we looking at? We're about halfway through in the stage to finally ink the deal. What kind of timeline do we look at the completion? The Indian Air Force Chief also was in France, I think, beginning of this month or late last month, if I'm not mistaken, to also finalize certain aspects and nitty-gritties of this agreement.
Air Force Chief was here yesterday. He was here yesterday and day was today.
Yes, sir. He was also in France just a couple of weeks ago as well. So obviously he's going there. Yes.
He flew the aircraft on the passing out parade yesterday, and he was here. But if Air Force was asked, they want it yesterday. If you ask a timeline when Rafale was required, it was yesterday they wanted it. So therefore, the Air Force is definitely keen to have as quickly as possible. And I'm sure that whatever deal that Mr. Modi makes with Macron, this part of the deal would be incorporated into that. They would like to have it as quickly as possible. And the money is involved. And therefore, I think the French, being businessmen as they've been before, they will probably now accommodate, as they have accommodated now the source code, looks like they have agreed to share the source code too, on which they were dilly-dallying for quite some time. And since the deal was substantial in amount of money, I think that attracted them to allow the source code to come to us. So therefore, it is probably maybe 2 years down the line, we'll start the supplies. But Air Force wanted it yesterday.
Okay. Okay. Let me get you in here, Gautam Mukherjee, as well on now also certain other aspects of this meeting. There are various MOUs which are expected to be signed as well today. There are also many other convergence areas which will also be focused on. What are the key outcomes you are awaiting and expecting today, Gautam?
Well, one of, going back to the Rafale deal, as a government-to-government deal, I think things will go much better because there are many component parts, Dassault, Safran, many of the component manufacturers, and so on. This is one. Second is fly away condition. I think if we're talking about 114 aircraft, we need maybe 2-3 squadrons in fly away condition as soon as possible from France before we get into all the building in India as a collaborative effort. As far as what you just asked in terms of various MOUs, these are basically detailed technology per MOUs, which India needs very badly to grow into, as Mr. Modi always puts it, the next level. It is well known all over the world that we are heading towards a $5 trillion economy, but we are not as yet technologically as proficient as we would like to be in various areas. Recently, the fact that we have made a breakthrough in fast breeder technology has not been lost on a highly competent nuclear electrical power manufacturer like France, and they will no doubt be very interested in the fast breeder technology from our side. Because it is small, it is quick, it can work on thorium as well as on, it is probably going to work on thorium as we stand. It certainly works on uranium. So there are some things that we can contribute, because while our technological base is very uneven, in some areas we're very advanced. ISRO, the satellites, some aspects of missiles, certainly. Now, for example, in Sindoor, we could not use the Rafale. It can't take up the BrahMos missile. It was the Sukhois that had to do that. Now we have a lighter BrahMos missile, the NG version, which could possibly go on to the new Rafales that we're now buying. So I think it's basically to upgrade technology right down to minor componentry and so on, which is how you build it up to a high capability when it comes to different aspects of manufacturing, both in the civil and in the military area.
And this technology transfer as well, Gautam, it certainly shows the kind of trust that France has in India, given the fact that it's been allowed and given the fact that, there will be eventually those jets manufactured in India as well.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that is what is being said. I am a little, wary of these things coming through. I know right now the carrot is the large deals. that we are offering, especially since Rafale has lost a couple of deals. This 114 deal is something the whole world wants, as well as the 28. So technology transfer across the board. Now a lot of things are being said. Will they do it? Will they drag their feet?
Commander Bhushan, this only happens
when
this only happens when one is a trusted ally and partner, isn't it? It's not very common.
Because France has always trusted you,
yeah,
and they have transferred technology, aircraft without any ideological basis. Or whom you're fighting, why you're doing it, they never ask those questions from you. So I'm sure that the technology transfer will probably happen. If there is a bit of give and take will happen probably in certain areas. And like Gautam said, we also have expertise in certain areas which France doesn't have. And therefore there will be a give and take. And the amount involved is very, very huge. And the sixth generation project has followed through. Therefore, I'm sure France is also very keen to have another partner who is ready to put money. So I expect that will happen.
Indeed. Also, of course, yes, please complete.
Yeah, I passed on to you.
Okay, I was just going to ask you, just to quickly follow up as well, on the aspect of convergence on the wars as well. We've seen India also take a position which has been appreciated by the world of peace, and France has also appreciated our position and stand. They're also seeking for more like-mindedness in the, in concentrating on the rule of law in the world and on the standing for peace, be it in Ukraine or be it in the Middle East.
If you look at French policy, it has never toed the American line. It has always been an independent French policy. Like we always have maintained an independent policy of our own. Same is the case that France also has never go down to the American policy. They have maintained an independent policy irrespective of whatever is happening around the world. I gave you the example of post-Pokhran, where the Americans sanctioned us, but the French never did. And therefore, I expect there's a lot of convergence in our thinking, and looking at world affairs and looking at various skirmishes or battles that are going on. I think there is more convergence between India and France than the rest of the Western world.
Our focus now we're turning our focus now to some more aspects as well coming in of this crucial meeting and of